dear friends, and welcome
What? You made me laugh. Okay.
to our podcast dedicated to sight reading through the lens of historically informed performance practice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sebastien,
You're
for
welcome.
this beautiful intro.
Hey, thank you. You're welcome for that.
My name is Darina Vlogina,
And I'm Sebastien Mitra.
and today we have...
Guests.
Could you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Fiona Kizzie, and I play the recorder and organetto, and
my name is Amy Farnell, and I sing.
together we make La Fiamma.
Early music, medieval and Renaissance ensemble.
Where does the name come from? I'm curious.
It actually comes from just our names, Fiona and Amy.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
And we were having lunch at Yum Yum, and we were like, what should be the name? And trying to combine, because And
It also helped a little bit at that time. We were playing Cicconia's La Fiamma
True.
de amours, and
it's a good piece. And that became also the intro of our early music channel song. So it's La Fiamma. And that comes from a piece by Josquin.
Oh, very cool.
shout
Can you
out.
plug?
Well, shout out.
Shout
yes,
out.
we'll give you a
Yes,
shout
yes.
out. What do you post on your channel?
So we do songs of early music on there. We talk about the songs, and then sometimes we even travel to places, like Amy traveled to Geneva just to film in front of the Geneva Cathedral, because we're doing an episode with a song on by Brummel. Yeah.
We started doing these videos actually in May of last year, 2020, when the lockdown hit, and then our school had a contest for making a music video type of thing that would help those who are going through the pandemic. And actually Fiona and I did separate videos. We didn't know either of us were doing it, and we both won. And then we started playing this game because we were so bored. Nothing was happening, no classes, no anything.
Yeah, we couldn't even go out and meet each other. Actually, we were doing everything virtually. We were even having Skype conversation. And then we were at some point we were like, how about if I choose a song that you don't know before, and I just play one song, and I'll play it in whatever
One voice.
transposition, one voice of it, and then I'll send it to you, and you'll have to.
And then the game is I have to respond with either another voice of the piece or make up my own voice, or, and surprise her back. And then it became a game. And then after the contest, we were like, hey, we could actually compile this and make it so that other people can enjoy music during a time where nobody was having concerts.
Yeah.
So that's what started it.
So maybe for the people who don't know you, what is the focus of your interest?
Of the ensemble's interest, I think it's primarily medieval and Renaissance polyphony. We do some chant, some things before 1200, but primarily I would say 13th to
16th century.
early 17th, but rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we're going to sight read some music from the manuscript that is kept in St. Gallen Library.
And that you found on the street.
Yes, I found it on the street. And the first piece that we are going to sight read is Adieu, amours by Josquin. Do you know anything about this piece?
I have never heard this piece or played it or anything.
No, you have heard it.
Have I heard it?
I mean, not this version, but I played it, an intabulation of it in the Amabach manuscript in a concert in last November, and you were singing in that concert, but you were not in that
I was not
piece.
listening.
us if this version was different from your Amerbach.
This version is this. No, this is not the simplified version. This is more like the original version. So in Amerbach, there were much more ornamentation added on all the parts, actually.
Is it a keyboard manuscript?
Yes, it is a keyboard manuscript. It's believed to be, the keyboard versions are believed to be made by Hans Cotte, who was a good friend of Bonifatius Amerbach, who actually was in the city of Basel. And the ornaments are quite characteristic because Cotte is definitely a really good keyboard player. He was also an organist in Freiburg. And so it's quite tricky tabulation. But
so you can add some of your ornaments.
Yeah.
What instrument did you play it on?
I played it on a claviciterium.
I'm so
But today
jealous.
you played it on your recorder. So yeah, and actually this combination is very interesting because now I played on my Traverso and you played on your recorder and Sebastien.
I played some voices on this little horrible organ. I don't know. I feel like everyone had like super nice instruments, and also your voice is a nice instrument. And then I have this like lackluster, very neutral keyboard.
But I felt that this combination worked very well. 3 wind instruments together.
Yeah.
Was quite nice. And yeah, Fiona, you told me that you heard before that this combination is not quite common. Recorder and Traverso together. So why do you think we have this issue?
I don't know. People just avoid it for some reason. Maybe it's quite hard to do a tuning like well enough because usually if people just play in a recorder consort, then it's all made by the same maker, the recorders. So it's quite easy to tune. And so if you have a traversal, which is of a different make than the recorder, then it's already more difficult. And so maybe people feel too intimidated to try. Could be.
But like, is there iconography that you know of that has both recorder and traverso?
I mean, I don't have it on the top of my head, but I'm sure it's quite common to have, a household setting and somebody get around the table and somebody's holding a traversal. And the other holding a recorder, and the other singing, and the other probably playing a keyboard instrument. Probably
doing similar things to what we did.
Yes, and Sebastien, how was it for you? Your reading?
I was sort of jumping. I was playing just 2 voices, but I wasn't fixed on 2 parts. At the beginning, I sort of played all the entries, imitations. Thank you very much. And then I sort of jump between, I always played the bass, and then I jump between alto and tenor, mostly.
But also we discussed this question in our Renaissance episode dedicated to Easter music. So that actually this music would exist only in part books. Yeah. So there is no score.
I would have had to have made an entabulation.
Yeah, I think one of the curious things about this music, while it works and in the end it sounds good, I think there is a trouble of having these 3 basically treble voices and then an organ that can kind of do anything. And then you have music that is clearly 1 voice treble, 2 are like kind of tenory, and then you have the bass. So it was fascinating to try to figure out what octaves we could do it in, and if I would sing tenor or the top voice. I think having me sing altos would not make much sense, so we didn't do that. And then my voice singing bassos would be hilarious. But yeah, I think we made it work.
But yeah, we experimented a lot. Very nice.
Adieu, mes amours. I don't know if they did the S at the end, but they probably did. Should I read it? I'll just read
please.
It in French, like modern French. Adieu, mes amours. Mes amours, on m'attend. Excuse me. Is there like a written note? Oh yes, okay, good. Because it's really hard. Adieu mes amours, on m'attend. Ma bourse n'enflée ne l'étend. Et bref, je suis en désarrêt, jusqu'à ce qu'il plaise leur rouet, me faire avancer du content. What? Oh no, but that's a different one already. Oh, okay, I try again. Adieu mes amours. Adieu vous comment? I don't get this.
So there's different texts, I think, happening at the same time.
My God, there is.
I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
Because what you just said was what I sang.
Because it says discant and then übrige Stimmen.
Oh, it's a combo.
It's a combo. Okay, so anyways, adieu mes amours, goodbye my loves. I'm awaited. Ma bourse is like my wallet. My wallet is not swelling up, like it's not getting bigger. Yeah, et brief. I think brief in this is like, I have no idea actually. Yeah, like because now like in French people say bref as meaning like in some, like, and I think that's kind of what it means. But he's saying like so therefore, I think it's more like therefore. Je suis en désarrêt. This is a word we don't have, but I think it's the same as disarray, like the English disarray. Like I'm sort of in disarray. Jusqu'à ce qu'il plaise le roi, until it pleases the king.
That is very mysterious.
I don't really get this. This is the type of French I don't really understand. In the 17th century, I'm a little more okay with it. But basically, the only thing that I thought was interesting is that in the other voices, which is the text we didn't hear, it's basically lamenting about how is he going to get until spring without the money of the king to help him, like to tie him over.
Maybe the my love is money. Goodbye my money, goodbye my love.
Could you please translate roughly or read the title?
So the title is Mins Herzen Kron, and I just read the text as I translate it with my very, very bad German. Mins Herzen Kron, ob alle Freud. I think it's my heart's crown, kron looks like crown, or all the joy, Freud, litt ich durch dich so großen Schmerz. Litt, I don't know.
Light, maybe?
Light,
I don't know.
I through you so big pain. My English sounds weird. Yeah. Wenn Wut gewinnt von dir mein Leid. When is when. When it would be used of you, my suffering, yeah. Das fröhlich wird mein treues Herz. That fröhlich, I don't know actually.
Happily?
Mm-hmm. Would my sad, traurig heart.
Amy, how is it for you to read this text that you see for the first time in your life, and probably some ancient German or Swiss?
Yeah, it's definitely some kind of a middle high German type of thing. It's difficult when you're not a native speaker of the language. I find for myself, if I'm singing a piece in English that's Old English, I can kind of get it, and I can, if something's misspelled, I immediately pronounce it in the modern way. But if it's a language like French or German that I don't speak natively or even fluently, it's a bit more difficult to realize what's happening, because frequently things are misspelled. There's not like a standard spelling yet.
What do we know about historical pronunciation of these kind of things?
I have been taught is that a lot of this era of German, actually some of the vowels are a bit how modern Swiss German is. So you have like tuot instead of tut, lieb instead of lieb, and different diphthongs like that are at the time that show up in the spelling.
with this piece we had some
Problems.
troubles because we were figuring out which parts we're going to play, and also we
Transposition,
transposed.
yeah.
Yes, we transposed, and
I had a hard time. Rather embarrassingly, I was playing one voice and I couldn't transpose it up a fifth. But
A similar problem to on the last piece. I think I may have the smallest vocal range out of all the instruments that we had, so we kind of had to attune to where I would fit best. I could do top voice at pitch, or I could do bottom voice transposed up a fifth, and that was kind of the only option, give or take a couple notes, but transposing up a sixth is a bit more annoying for instrumentalists.
yeah, and maybe we should say that it's a 3-part piece, so just 3 voices. So Fiona was doubling Amy.
I was doubling Amy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we reached quite a nice result.
also the tempo was nice in the end. This faster tempo.
The text is so sad and the tempo is joyful and, yes, moving forward. And yes, it's interesting. It's always interesting with these Renaissance pieces when you have this very sad text or even depressive, and the music is not like that at all.
It could lead one to believe that it may be done slower, and then that's a real dramatic pause, like, woe is me, and then you start the next phrase, and then like, it's so annoying, and then start the next phrase, and I'm so tired of this love, and then you start the next phrase. Thank you very much. Sorry. I have to get the key because now.
What went wrong?
Huh?
What happened? What went wrong?
Intervals for me. Okay. If I am sight reading a fourth, that is like the worst intervals somehow.
For me, it's like I have a hemiola and then something normal and then a hemiola, so I kind of speed up.
So the first 2 measures is a hemiola, so we have to get the.
Yeah.
Maybe let's go slower because I have 16 notes.
That's great.
1, 2, 3, like that. That is not what I would choose for my range.
We can either choose that or do at pitch, and then I don't play the most important note of the whole song. Okay, so what's...
This one was the one I was looking at. So... That's what happens as soon as as soon as a singer gets off. If you don't have perfect pitch, and you don't know the piece yet, so you're sight reading,
So
it's
you're
game
off
over.
forever.
Unless you know where the cadence is. In this case, it was still 6 bars away. So Josquin.
Yeah.
To last line.
So hard.
Okay, yeah.
Can't imagine.
The ending.
Remember that time when we were like, let's just do it once?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just do it once. Oh.
For us, I'm sure it was very interesting for both of us to listen.
Yeah.
It was such a fresh and interesting experience, not to play, but to listen in this show. So, yes, but actually, especially I like the second piece because it had such a strong beginning, and the organetto, it was singing, and it was so wonderful to hear this instrument. So, Fiona, could you tell us about your instrument?
Yes, so I have this organetto since 2 years ago, around, We drove up to Germany to get it from the maker, who is called Stefan Kappler. And this instrument's really, really nice because it has a lower range than most of the organettos around that we have with our colleagues and stuff, because it goes down to a G below the middle C and goes up to an E, which happens to be quite similar to Amy's vocal range. That's why it's actually very fitting for us to do repertoires for La Fiamma, because then we can do equal voice duels.
And where does this fashion playing organetto comes from?
It started pretty early from Saint Cecilia, like all the sculptures and all the paintings with Saint Cecilia playing the organetto, and I think it goes all the way back to at least 13th century. And in 14th century in Trecento, Italy, it's very omnipresent. It's a lot of paintings and even manuscripts. We have Francesco Landini, we have the miniature of him actually playing the organetto in the little profile picture of him, let's say, in the Squarciaropi Codex. And then it goes on to some more in the Renaissance, and then it eventually kind of stopped. But we have a very late 16th century, even 17th century organetto survived in a museum, but it's a very weird instrument. It's not like what we play here, so.
Some kind of a monster.
Yeah, it's like a transformer. Could be.
And in the 20th century, where does it start? This interest?
I think it might start very near us. It might start in Schola, actually. I would say Karina Marti, my teacher, is a very big pioneer of the organetto, and she started teaching medieval keyboards here in Schola in 2007. She started teaching before, like medieval recorder before that, but then she started the medieval keyboard department here in 2007, and then people all over the world, like right now in the department we have Asians, we have somebody from Brazil, and we have like just everywhere.
Yes, and how was your impression about the pieces that you just read?
Ooh, they were trickier than I thought.
So I have to say, one of them comes from the Ritzen and one maybe not. But
yeah, what is E?
I would say this style and era of music, these are both medieval carols, is like one of our favorites to do together because it's so challenging.
Yeah.
I feel like under pressure and under nerves, we messed up a couple more times than we usually would. Difficult when you have an edition with bar lines that doesn't have maybe an even number of beats in the bar. So you have to kind of like literally just focus on your line. And
yeah, I find it funny that this edition, if they do 3/4 and it's missing a quaver in the bar, they would literally just put it in the bar and not indicate it otherwise. So, I mean, I am modernly trained musician, and so I'm used to actually every time seeing one bar as a unit, and then if I just count, I would wait for the unit to end before I go on to the next bar, and that's often what hinders me when
you have this inner pulse of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or whatever it may be, and then there are 5 quavers in a bar.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to get rid of that whole idea almost with this particular repertoire.
It doesn't work.
No.
This modern edition is so hard to read.
It does not work, and even in the manuscript, it's so much harder as well. At least we have the vertical alignment in the edition. If we got off, we can hop right back on. But
in which manuscript can we find those carols?
The one of them is Ritzen manuscript. That's Amy and I's favorite manuscript, let's say. And it's a manuscript from, some people say it's from around 1430s, but some say dated even 1460s even. So because of the rhythm, it's actually very advanced, the rhythm, and
something that gives us a challenge, and it doesn't have these normal cadences all the time of early music where you hear all early music sounds the same. Some people say this, even though it's not, but some people believe that, and this just completely obliterates the idea of what early music sounds like. So that's why I really like it.
Was it meant for the church, to sing in the church?
Yes, it should be meant for the church, but maybe not like choir boys, because choir boys are usually don't get to this training level. It must be some quite decent musician.
I have almost a rule that anything before like 1500, you just kind of have no idea what it was meant for. Give or take. There's a couple things that clearly say in the beginning of the book, this is for what it's for. But
for Ritzen particularly, because this song Ave Decus Seculi that we just did is actually, there is a attribution. It's written by Richard Schmidt. Smart. Whatever. And I think I've read somewhere he was a church musician, so could be. Yeah.
Thanks for coming, and it was a pleasure to play together and to listen to you.
Very much.
And yes, please follow La Fiamma's YouTube channel.
And Darina will be there in
See you there.
some episodes.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Whoops. Oopsie. I mean,
you could be in it too. We didn't know you were actually going to be here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I didn't know.
Why not?
It's just to promote like this.
Yeah.
It would be great if
great.
you're there to do the talking as well. But the song that we already practiced, so maybe we don't include you in the song because we already did it.
No,
even though we could, it's the same.
But we're transposing.
Oh, I could sing. I mean,
no, it's not the same. What? It's so custom. So.
It's not. It's high actually.
It's
how high?
I'm singing the tenor, and it's the lowest.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I can do counter.
Yeah.
No. But just wait for us.
No.
Wait for us in Balagra.
Yeah, I'll just have a drink and it's fine.
Sorry.
Great.
Okay. Bye. See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
It was
you.
fun.
Cheers, Leute.